Hello and welcome to Beyond Boundaries. Today I am joined by a man I only met earlier this year, but I'd like to say a friend, Diego. Diego is he's got quite a big job, Diego, hey? Head of Strategy, Partnerships and Innovation at BBVA. Diego, welcome to Beyond Boundaries.
Thank you, Matt. First of all, thank you for having me here. And I'm quite excited to share my thoughts with you today.
Good stuff. Well, the hope was that we were both going to be in Madrid together, but
Yeah.
currently it's pretty hot out there. And as an Englishman, I'm relieved to be in the UK right now. So we're doing it on video. But Diego, thanks for joining. Did I get your title right? That sounds like a pretty big role.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a big challenge in let's say, quite a big organization with
Sure.
very different, quite a big footprint that we have with different companies and business approaches in each country. So it's a challenge, but also it's a joy to be here leading the strategy at a global level.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds like a pretty good one. And let's get into some of it. Let's understand who this guy Diego is. Let's start there. Tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you end up in BBVA?
Well, I have to say that even though I'm leading the strategy and the innovation and also the partnerships from the business side, I'm a computer science engineer. So I started like, let's say, like more than 15 years ago. I started in BBVA with not my very first job, but let's say like very first one, almost the first one. And I started in the engineering team in the investment banking. So there I was able to join like very big, technology projects, very much related with regulation, big challenges. And then at some point I moved to a more business department within the product. I was leading product and business development for enterprises. And over on that team, I was able to let's say deploy a project related with insurance, and that was like my door to join the global insurance team like 5 or 6 years ago, where I was being involved in strategy, business development, and so on. And at some point, like let's say, I don't know, if maybe less than a year ago, I got the opportunity to got this head of strategy and partnerships and so on, and that was a big challenge. I got the confidence from my boss, and that's it. And that's how I landed in this role.
Super cool. And tell me, maybe let's dive into the insurance side of BBVA. So for us at Sønr, that's of particular interest, but the banking side and insurance side can't be detached, right? They are so connected, and we can explore that. And I remember in our very first conversation, we went into that a fair bit, and I really would love to talk about that. But tell me about the insurance practice, the insurance arm of BBVA. What are the kind of key priorities, and what's the role that kind of the strategy, the partnerships, the innovation side plays within that as well?
Yeah, sure. I think that maybe we have to start mentioning that BBVA as a group has just launched its strategic plan for the next 5 years.
Cool.
So we
Good
got
timing.
like, yeah, super good timing. So we've got like six key priorities at a group level. That those projects are like, we have to embed a radical client's perspective in all we do. We are very much focused on sustainability. We are in the process of scaling up our enterprise segments. We have to, we change to a more, let's say, value capital creation mindset. We wanted to be very careful with that. And of course, it's about AI and next gen technologies. And we also want to enhance our, let's say, our team, our employees. So if you look at these six priorities, and you look into the insurance business, let's say that insurance it's now like a key priority for the bank, because insurance is all about radical client perspective. It's about, of course, capital creation mindset. It's about AI and next gen. So we are, let's say, in a very good spot at the group level. And what we did is to deploy a strategic plan for insurance with key priorities, very much related with these 6 at the group level. So right now we have like 3 levers. One of them is we want to evolve our distribution and commercial model. We're in the process to give, or let's say, to transform our branches into advisory model approach. And for that, for example, we are like deploying AI-driven tools. We are like changing the way we train our branch managers. We do have a omni-channel orchestrator to lead all the traffic to each channel. So that's a very important part. The second one is very much related with product and the value proposition. We try to innovate within the product side, developing new products, modular, with very hyper-personalized value proposition for each channel, for each segment. And then, of course, it's about servicing. We are super focused in servicing. We wanted to transform how we operate the insurance business in each geography. And for that, we are leveraging a lot in AI, data, and of course, it's also about platforms. We need to enhance our core platforms and try to get a better time to market, let's say, sure. to get all these new opportunities that we have right now.
So it sounds like there's a mix of both strategy, but also it sounds like you're well on your way into that journey in some aspects, right? I'm sure some are further down the road than others. Well, what's today's insurance business look like? So when you talk about the branches that you operate, what are the territories that you're talking about, and what are the kind of like, I don't know, what's the what is the business that you have in the world of insurance at a global level?
Well, at a global level, I always say that we've got all the flavors that you can have in an insurance operation, because we operate our own insurance companies in many countries. We do have partners in different business approaches. So we've got, for example, as you know, in Spain, we have a joint venture with Allianz for non-life, but we also have a co-insurance with Sanitas for the health insurance. We also have geographies where we do not have insurance company, but we deploy distribution agreements with many partners. So the point is that let's say the business as usual, it's very, very different in each country, and we've got like many different flavors. So it's about I would say that we try to operate the insurance to be on a daily basis, every day in the banking operations. We want it to be like another business, another value proposition for our clients, not a different, we don't want to have insurance like a different work stream separated from the bank's business as usual.
I think that's the correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the power of operating this within BBVA, right? Or as part of BBVA, because you have that like incredible reach. I don't know what the numbers are, but your customer base must just be enormous, truly enormous, right? And then the opportunity to, whether it's bank assurance is embedded, and we can get into maybe some of the nuances around both of those. But in terms of maybe like the broader sort of banking ecosystem, that must provide huge opportunity for you to. The clients are there, right? For you to move forward and provide them incredible service.
Yeah, it's huge because, as you said, first of all, the client base is very big, but also the capabilities in terms of the channels that the bank provides for us as a way to sell and to provide with services, insurance services to our clients is huge. But I will say that, like the best of that for me is like the engagement that we have with our clients. If you think about it, when it comes to pure insurance company, let's say the number of interactions that you have with your clients are going to be very limited at some point.
Sure.
You only talk with your client when you sell the insurance, and then when you have a problem, for example. But when we talk about banking, a banking client is, interacting with us on a daily basis, for many different, I need to do a transfer, I need to see my account, I need to see my credit card, whatever. So that engagement with the client provide us with a enormous momentum to offer an insurance product, or to offer a service, or just to know around all the data that we have from the clients, to know to better feed the needs that they need to provide. That's huge. That's super.
Are you as a business joined up? Are you connected well enough to benefit from that as well? Because again, a problem with, we talk about it's not just in an organization like yours, right? Lots of these big organizations, these big companies have huge legacy systems. They have siloed data. They are disjointed to an extreme, but that's the very nature of these enormous companies, right? Are you well enough connected to benefit?
Well, I will say that we are super connected, but of course we face challenges around data, of course, and also around the so big footprint with many different players in each country. And I mean like partnerships, regulation, kind of products, value proposition. So I think that's a challenge. How do you connect all the dots to be able to, deploy an homogeneous insurance offering along all the countries, across all the countries? Huge challenge. But I would say that even though we are pretty much super connected with our banking ecosystem, and I think that's part of the success of our insurance operation, I would say.
That's great. No, and I love it. And I think, when I think of BBVA over the years, I always think of it as an incredibly innovative business, albeit in my head, on the banking side, because that's how I've got to know the business over the years. In terms of then setting up and or driving the innovation focus from an insurance perspective, there must be a good amount of learning, well, good and bad, right, from the banking world that you're able to take over to the insurance world. And how have you found that in terms of just everything from how to scout for new technologies, to running POCs, to implementing pilots, to scaling technologies, to buy, build, partner decisions? Again, is that strategic learning shared across the business? Because there's got to be some good learnings there.
Yeah, I would say that is also a huge part of our business. I would say not only huge, but also it's an advantage for us, because we leverage on all the innovation that the bank is bringing for the clients. And that means, for example, if the bank is deploying AI tools at a global scale, we benefit from that. So we don't have to lead at some point, or we don't have to think about investing in some sort of things, because the bank is already giving us like the guidance, the execution, the tools, everything. And that's a huge advantage for us. On the other hand, we also have to, because this is always deployed at a global scale, thinking about banking business. So at some point we need to, refine a little bit what is the bank providing to adapt it to the insurance business or the insurance operation. But I will say that on top of that, we benefit from all the AI, cybersecurity systems, platforms. I don't know, not so innovative, but Salesforce, tools for the branch managers, everything. Even though I would say that the app that we have, for example, that we have just renovate or update the app, and that's it. Insurance is already inside, so we already we are part of that innovation that the bank is bringing
It's a
to
luxury,
clients.
right? I imagine there are so many like Diego's working purely within insurance companies that are probably pretty envious of that opportunity, right? Because there's a huge connection. Two questions in that. Question number one is what is you talked about some of the you talked about AI, you talked about cyber, you talked about all the way through, but it's like, are there any particular I don't know, emerging technologies or customer behaviors or aspects that you're particularly tracking or testing or experimenting with at the moment? Because there must be the obvious handful, right? Because we all are. But tell me where you guys are at the moment. What's
Well,
important?
from my side, I will say that I'm very much looking for these, Gen AI chatbots that are now. I don't know if it is innovation or if just the past, because I know that there are some companies that already deployed some autonomous chatbots able to sell insurance on a digital basis end to end. Because I think that the way the insurance is a very complex product to sell in an online basis, but I think that maybe these AI agents maybe are the tipping point to really start enhancing how we sell on a digital basis, and all of this related also with embedded insurance, everything that is now happening in the ecosystem with how the companies are embedding the insurance offering into retailers, I don't know, car dealerships, online platforms. That is something that I'm also very, I'm looking very carefully, because I think that's where the markets are right now going somehow.
I have a second question, but I want to carry on with the embedded bit just for a second. Yeah, I mean, again, I remember our first conversation of many talking about embedded and the opportunities there, and the bank insurance embedded kind of nuances and arguments and the rest. Tell me more about the embedded opportunities, because they're huge. I genuinely believe in that, and I think it's a game changer, not just in the ability to buy insurance at a key moment in time, but also just from a much bigger and broader play. But tell me what embedded means for you at BBVA and where you guys are moving towards.
Well, for me, embedded, it's a complex conversation, because we've got always say that we have the best channel in the market, that is the bank assurance. It's already an embedded insurance approach. So what I think that we have to deploy or develop inside is we must, and that is something that the other players are already doing, is we have to build our own ecosystems. We already have the momentum, we have the engagement with the clients. So I think that that's a very good opportunity for us to start building silver economy ecosystem, financial ecosystem, wealth, health and well-being ecosystem. That's something that we can do, and I think that with the the bank capabilities that we have, we are more than able to do that. And the other thing is, we also need to look outside the bank at some point, because the clients are no longer going to the insurance agency or to the insurance retailer to buy insurance. They are like, they want protection embedded during any other experience, when buying another service, when I'm buying my flying tickets, when I'm going to look to my holidays, my vacation. I want my insurance already embedded in that experience. So I think that there's a lot of things going on with banning. I think we have to start internally. That is the maybe the smart move. but we also have to look outside. We already have some open marketing operations in different geographies, and I think that that allows us to also mix. And I think that you have a previous question, like how do you test all these things in
that's exactly what I'm interested in, right? So that's kind of my second question is yeah, how do you go about that, especially when you're experimenting and testing, whether it's embedded or it's other, but you have a customer base that is loyal to you because of the service you've provided in other aspects of your business, which you need to maintain an exceptional quality of customer service towards, right?
Yeah.
But yet you're experimenting with X, Y, or Z. And how do you balance that? Because yeah, I mean, super interested in that.
Well, we've got like, we try to be very cautious when testing new functionalities, new features, because as you said, we have to keep our client base protected at some point.
Sure.
So what we do is, of course, we have like the traditional approach, A/B testing with very very little client base, very isolated sandboxes, whatever. But we do have another lever that is one of the best approaches that we have is that many of the features and products that we provide, we also provide it to our employees. So at some point we try to what we call friends and family. So we are able to deploy these new functionalities only to these employees client base that give us super good insights, data on how it is working, if there is any problem with the new deployment, whatever. Once we are pretty sure that is working properly, we can deploy and roll out to all the client base. And finally, and as I said, we also have some open market operations. So that also gives us the ability to, go to the open market to test some, innovation, new product, or whatever the thing that we want to test without touching our client base. So that gives us also some sort of flexibility at some point. And if we test that is working, we can then roll out inside the the client base.
I love it. I was having a conversation with another client, and they did just the same in terms of their internal staff testing. So I think they made an investment, possibly partnered with I think it was somebody in the wealth and pension space, and that's it. And they tested it with their internal, again, another large global insurance and sort of finance business, and I think it's a really interesting area. And again, maybe for the beyond boundary study, right? One area to pull out, because what is true with these very large corporates is the opportunity to and the opportunity to both test but also engage internally around innovation, and then kind of open those mindsets to the art of the possible to then to feed into their job. So I think that's super cool. What about I kind of said it briefly just then around the partnership side. What about this kind of broader ecosystem? So we as Sønr, so our job is, well, not our job, but what we've made our job to be is tracking the innovation and technology that takes place all around the world, and helping our clients connect with that to drive their business forward, whether it's to acquire that innovation, to partner with that innovation, to invest into that innovation, etc. From a BBVA perspective, and looking at kind of partnering with this ecosystem, like the startup, scale-up, technology, innovation ecosystem, whatever label we give it, where are you guys at? Do you look at this kind of external innovation and try and connect to that as a business?
Yeah. So we kind of have two main approaches. Our main approach or strategy within the insurtech, this super innovative ecosystem, is to we try to scout whenever it's a particularly good innovation or interesting innovation that we wanted to test. But the approach is not to invest in that company. It's about how can we deploy that innovation in our value chain to provide with this new service to the client, or to enhance our operational claims, or to get better at some point. So that's the approach. Of course, it's difficult because as a big company, it's
Sure.
sometimes hard to engage and to deploy this kind of innovations. Sometimes it is not what it looks like. Sometimes it is very hard to introduce that innovation in our value chain because of process or whatever. But that is the approach. So the other approach, it's we also leverage on our partnerships to bring us innovation. So when we talk about, I don't know, Sanitas, for example, that it's part of the Bupa group, Sanitas is the one who is bringing pure innovation to our health product in terms of product innovation, in terms of features, in terms of the app, or health, well-being. So that's also something that we look when we engage with a partnership. So big industrial partnership.
Yeah, so it feeds in. Do you, from an innovation perspective, so one of the things I'm really keen on doing is showcasing the innovation that has taken place in the market, because I think that sometimes there's a lot of talk across this industry and celebration around businesses moving forward, but sometimes it's not that tangible. Do you know what I mean by tangible? It's you can't see it. You can't. It's not. Well, sometimes it's not real. Can you talk through any innovation that's like a mini case study or some innovation that you guys have brought to the market, and maybe a little bit of context as to the journey that you took on it, and what we're able to see from a market perspective from that innovation?
Yeah, sure. Well, as I said, for example, with Sanitas, they bring us real innovation. For example, if you take right now, you can perform a like a test of blood pressure and many stuff just with your mobile phone, just by recording yourself like for 20-30 seconds.
Using your face.
Using your face.
Yeah, I can't remember the name for this.
It's
a very long English word for that.
Yeah,
but I can't remember what it is. Yeah.
So you can do that. So that is something that I don't know, 2 years ago you cannot do it, and that is already in hands of our clients, and that is brought by Sanitas, for example. Another example, for example, in Mexico we work with BBVA, that is a no longer an insurtech. I think it's already a very good big company. And in Mexico, for example, we got a problem without insurance. We have the problem that whenever you have to take to the the guy that is reviewing the accident or whatever, it takes so long because Mexico City is a big city, a lot of traffic jams. So at that point, we partner with this BBVA company, and we implement a visual artificial intelligence feature in our app, so the client can just record the car or the accident or whatever it happened, and there is no need for our people to go to that place to check that everything is what happened. So it's already recorded, and we have some data, AA data models that directly set your indemnification at some point, and that's it. So that saves us a lot of money, time, and it's a very good example for the client to re-enhance the client's servicing.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, the Mexican case study, which I found super interesting. I think the whole Latin America movement towards innovation that's relevant to their territory, as well as just innovation in general, right? And the opportunity that they have in an underserved market, I think is fascinating. And and I'm sure, I mean, your role is closely connected to the Latin market as well. I'm quite sure, right?
Yeah, sure.
What how do you so with like two case studies, whether it's the Sanitas or the BBVA case study, how do you guys measure? And or any other examples as well. How do you measure what innovation looks like, or what good looks like, right? So again, whether that's learning from the banking side, or you've put in your own kind of KPIs or metrics. How do you know when to stop or when to continue? How are you guys set up in that kind of process?
Well, I would say that because that's two very good examples. success examples, but we also have some, failures along the way. Maybe not because it is a bad innovation, but because maybe the market is not prepared for that innovation. Maybe on a cultural basis, it's not the place to deploy that innovation. So I would say that every time that you really deploy something that the client is going to value, that innovation is going to be worth it. On the other hand, of course, we have to be very careful about the cost, and we usually place some financial KPIs to really check that is an innovation, but it's also creating some value for us in terms of financials or whatever. So at some point, something is not, we evaluate with an NPS with the clients, the servicing level. So everything, all these KPIs together, if we are not meeting the expectation at some point, we should maybe at some point close or stop that feature or that deployment, and that's it. And innovation is also about trying, testing, and looking if it is working or not.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you didn't have, I mean, whether we call them failures or just we validate, it's the no, right? It's if we weren't doing that, we're not pushing anything forward. No, 100% with you. So let's kind of regroup on BBVA 2025 and beyond. All right. So we talked kind of embedded. We talked about kind of Gen AI opportunities. Where do you see kind of the next big move for you guys from an insurance perspective, which may be one of those? And maybe kind of some of the challenges that you're seeing along that journey as well, if that's not too big a question to get your head around.
Yeah, sure. Well, I would say that, as I said, I see an opportunity and a trend or around embedded insurance.
Yeah.
How we can become truly contextual and truly intelligent with the clients, and how we can embed this service, this insurance protection in the journey, in the experience of the client, and that means moving from a transactional, more reactive models to a more, let's say, predictive or need-based protection. That is a challenge, because although I think we do have the data, we have the technology to connect everything and to really enhance the experience of the client, that is going to be a challenge. But once we get there, I think that is going to be like the next big thing for us. And then again, also the challenge for us is, okay, you wanted to deploy this embedded insurance experience, but the footprint that we have are super complex. We have different platforms in each country. We have different partnerships. We have our own insurance company. We have different regulation in each country. So to really deploy this homogeneous embedded experience in other countries, that's also a challenge, but also opportunity. So we leverage on that global experience to be able to deploy best practices in each country. So I think that is more or less where I see the next innovation, or how we had to roll out our innovation. Yeah.
Diego, I feel like you. I don't know the size of your innovation team, but I feel like you could do with a few thousand people within your team, right? It's
no, not so much.
It's a big job. It's a big job to get across the business, right? Of course, and then but then equally, it's not just about them reporting to you, right? It's about working collaboratively with the businesses and helping them understand innovation. Kind of last thing I think from my side is one of the things that I really want to make available to people who are both watching this but also reading the study that we will be publishing in October is an understanding of how they can embrace innovation as a company. And kind of like lessons or learnings around how best not to kind of explore innovation, and kind of from a BBVA perspective, kind of I'd be really keen in kind of like understanding what innovation leadership means to you, So what does that look like? And it's also kind of like if there are any learnings that you've had on your journey that you're able to share to accelerate another's path, from A to B as well, who might be looking at or leading a company in a similar vein.
Well, I would say that that's I would say tough question because
Yeah.
it's well, I would say that for me, leading innovation, it's about, to be, to guide your teams, because here in BBVA, we have a kind of hybrid approach. So we are not only the global team leading the innovation, we rely on the local teams from both the insurance companies and also from the bank. So together we try to be a team, and it's about guiding all the all the teams, all the interest to the same point. So for me, innovation, it's about leading everyone to the same place. And for me also, the challenge is about we must, and here in BBVA, I would say that we pretty much has this mindset. It's how we embed. Now we are talking about embedded insurance. We also want to talk about how we embed innovation in everything we do. So when we design any product, when we deploy a new feature, when we update a new system, a new platform, so we have to be very innovative mindset, innovative approach. Don't be shy, or don't be afraid of doing something that is not going to work, because that is what may start a new good thing. So that is where I see, of course, this is like a very personal view, but I think, how do you lead with innovation, how you cooperate with any other teams, how you really enhance the innovation view, and how you embed everything that we do with innovation.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Diego. I think that is a wrap. I feel like I might need to leave you to do your day job. All right, you've got plenty on.
Hopefully.
Diego, look, thank you so much for your time. And sorry again, we're not in person, but hopefully somewhere around the world, very soon we'll see each other, and I don't know, we'll get some time.
Yeah.
But no, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For all those tuning in to the Beyond Boundaries series, please follow along. We'll have another interview next week, and big thanks to Diego from BBVA today.